Hi, I'm Carrie, stroke survivor and bind member.
And I'm Kezia, a stroke survivor and brain injury survivor as well. And we are so excited to be welcoming one of our guests. Her name is Myung, and she loves cooking and is a great gardener. And she has introduced a lot of her hobbies onto Bind and is a member as well. So we're so excited to welcome her.
Welcome, Myung.
Thank you.
Welcome to Bindwaves, the official podcast of the Brain Injury Network of Dallas. I'm Brian White, Bind's Executive Director. On each episode, we'll be providing insight into the brain injury community. We'll be talking to members and professionals regarding their stories and the important role of Bind's Clubhouse. We work as a team to inspire hope, community, and a sense of purpose to survivors, caregivers, and the public. Thank you for tuning into Bindwaves. Let's get on with the show.
Awesome. So we're so excited to have you, Myung. So right now, just to kind of introduce yourself and let us know a little about who you are and what you do, and definitely what have you been doing going back to school?
My name is Myung, and I come from South Korea. Before my brain injury, I was a full-time worker and sometimes a full-time student, sometimes a half-time student, and I was a single mom. I got traumatic brain injury twice at work, 2013, and then everything started since then.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I know that something that's been mentioned a lot here at Bind and is we were so exciting to hear when you were able to go back to school and a degree. So what happened and how did you do that?
Actually, after brain injury very first time, I couldn't do anything. I just stuck at home, and my brain injury is very different comparing with the other members. Mine is affected a lot sensory issues. So I'm very sensitive with the sounds, temperature, lights, and movement, something like that. Very first time, all sudden, and I did not know what was going on with me, so I couldn't go outside even one step from my apartment. But 2016, I was accepted by Bind, and I started my journey to recovery. Here, I have many friends and many supporters, and that's why I was able to do more. And before my injury, after injury, I think it was about 2018, 19, I went back to school, Collin College, and I graduated. So right now I have American associate degree.
That's great. And then we also understand that besides just going back to college, you had another big test that you studied for so that you could get your citizenship.
Oh yeah. Before my injury, I was I had just green card, but because of the injury, I couldn't study. I couldn't understand. Even it was very hard for me to read one page of a book at the very first time. But finally, about 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, something like about 5 or 6 years, I recovered a lot because of my wonderful friends and supporters here. So I wanted to have a citizenship, but very first time when I got the book, it was very hard. I thought how I could remember these things. So I asked my friends at Bind, I asked them, I need your help. And they made some kind of question to me and they trained me. That's why I could answer and I got citizenship.
That's great.
I love first of all, awesome stories because I think it's awesome that you said it took 5 to 6 years to get ready to be able to fully comprehend everything. So I think that's amazing that you did that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And then I love also hearing that you trusted and really asked for help from Bind members, people that like understood you, so that was great too. Did you feel comfortable like asking other people, like your teachers, or did you tell anyone else?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
So, when you went back to school, not the citizenship, but when you went back to school for your degree,
Yeah.
were you comfortable discussing your brain injury with your teachers, with the other students, the classmates? How did that kind of work for
With
you?
the classmates, I didn't talk with them, but with the teacher,
Yes.
professor, I talked to them, and school accommodated me.
Oh, good.
School accommodated me. They gave me some kind of, for example, if I had to get a test, I did not have to get the test in the same room with the other students. I went to the testing center.
Okay.
So they gave me quiet and more cool place.
Right. Somewhere where you would feel comfortable taking
Yes.
the test and not. So you're not overwhelmed sensory wise as
Yeah.
well as brain wise trying to
Yeah.
study and take the
Yeah,
test.
all the time at the school, when I felt uncomfortable, I went out. So professor already know I had brain injury and I should to cool down my head. So he knew already. So they didn't
Question.
question. They didn't look at me something like that. It's something weird. So I was comfortable.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they were able to do that for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that for sure, like, I think coming here to Bind helped a lot to learn about accommodations and what to ask. And I think that's something so important for more people to know, that after something traumatic happens, there is that resources in school for you to, and other things too, like to be able to get accommodations and things that are going to help you move forward, not just keep you on hold forever. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And I was accepted to UT Dallas mathematics subject, but
Wow.
I didn't register the class because tuition's expensive.
It's a little too something. Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
bet.
good.
But
Which-
I may try. Pardon?
Yeah. So, sorry, I might have missed it. What did you end up getting your associate's degree on?
Pardon?
What did you get your...
General associate degree.
Oh,
Yeah, but with the general associate degree, because of my sensory issues, I cannot work in a regular, normal, not normal, it's many jobs. I cannot work in an office because it's too hard for me, too much something, some kind of machine sounds, even though you guys don't hear, but even though I don't hear, but this don't hear, and at some point it made me dizzy and something like that. So I cannot work. I don't know, and it was very hard for me to find a job.
Well, and
So-
hopefully you can, I mean, with the way the world is changing and there's so many more opportunities to work from home, maybe that's the way to look so that, you can control your environment if you're working from home. And I know that most employers will work with accommodations and help with that kind of, hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I know it works. It's just finding the right employer a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But also talking about, so you said that your professor was very helpful. Were there any new techniques or strategies that maybe he could help you with to help you getting back into the process of learning to go back to school? Because that's got to be a big difference. I mean, I was fortunate enough to finish school before my brain injury, but I can imagine that trying to relearn how to be a student must be hard. Do you have any tips or tricks on how you got back into student mode? That's a tough question. But.
It's a very tough question. But before my injury, when I was in Korea, I had a bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to study. I really love to study. I really love to learn. So, and my character is also, I wanted to do something. How I can tell? I force me. even though I have difficulty with the environment, still I try to do, and then sometimes I just fall down, but still I try to do that. But I don't know. I just wanted to do, and here at Bind, some steps help me when I had to make some kind of paperwork. They help me. I think that's why I could do that. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly right now.
It's okay. It's okay. So with Bind helping you and like different members helping you get through getting ready for exams and for like what did they do to help you?
Very first time members,
Yeah.
honestly, I didn't ask help to members.
Sure.
Yeah, to staff.
Oh, yes.
To staff, I asked some help when I re-entered the college. Because after brain injury, it took many years, so I had to relearn the computer again because I couldn't remember very first time if PowerPoint or Excel or Word. Very first time I didn't remember those things. That time staff, they helped me how to do that. And so I think that's why I could do that.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I think that's something that's really good about Bind, being able to relearn these skills for sure, and then also practicing it here in the clubhouse. So I think that's really good.
You know, right now I'm living in Longview for almost 2 years, and I forgot many things. So last week, this week, I am relearning again.
Yeah. I think, and that's really important about brain training, right? You're working out and you're working your brain to remember these things. And if you stop, it kind of lose it a little bit. But I do want to always like remember and remind all our followers to continue following us. Every Thursday, we put up our new episodes. So listen to them, like us, share us, follow us all the time. And just remember that whenever you have a question and you want to learn something, we always are reachable via our email, and make sure to ask us and like us and tell everyone to follow us. Thank you.
And I think I'm very, very lucky because I have Bind. I have friends and supporters. I know my trauma brain injury is a little bit different compared with the other trauma brain injury. Mine is a diffuse external injury, so it's a very microscopic injury, and I have different symptoms.
But that's okay. A brain injury is a brain injury, and we all know each other and get each other and get along, and that's what we're trying to help everyone out there in the world understand, that all brain injuries are different. They don't look the same. They don't act the same. We all have some of the same issues. Our memory, trying to study, trying to focus. And I'm just amazed and proud of you that you were able to go back to school and get your citizenship, because that takes a lot of hard work to stay focused to do that.
Almost 9 years.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. You know what? There are people without a brain injury that it takes them 9 years to get an associate's degree too. So I wouldn't feel bad about that.
And I love that you're sharing also the differences. Like, you wanted to continue going back to school and you like studying and you like these things. It wasn't so much like forgetting things. It's more like the exams, or at least that's what I'm understanding, right? That you got to go into a different room and they were able to accommodate you to be able to do your best on an exam.
Yeah, right now I want to come back to Bind again. I want to move into Plano, and if it's possible, I want to finish 4 year. I want to get the 4 year master, 4 year bachelor's degree, and I want to work at school. I hope so.
Well,
elementary school or library, something like that.
I'm sure with your attitude and your go-to that you can, if you put your mind to it, I know you'll get it done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think so too. That's great.
But
I didn't know about that. So congratulations on having that goal for yourself. So that's really good.
But I'm very lucky. I know that some patients who has similar symptoms like me, many of them just stuck at home, like I did for several years.
Yeah.
But I found a bind.
Well, we're glad you
Kelly,
did.
you are my first supporter. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that day.
Yeah, you remember that day
I
I
do.
was not able to do anything. Just I stuck. I
Yeah.
struggled.
And so I said, I've watched you come a long way, so I know when you put your mind to something, you can do it. I remember when you first came to Bind, you were maybe a couple of hours, and now you can stay all day in that kitchen cooking for us, making everything smell good in here, keeping us fat and full.
I cannot cook every day, but at some point I can cook. I try to cook.
Yeah.
Sometimes I cannot cook at home at all. So that's why my son had to do something for me, but still I try to do.
Yeah. Now, kind of back on school, man, did you consider like doing virtual classes, doing classes online, or did you just want to go in person?
For me, in person is easier. Virtual is for me
Too
very
much?
hard. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I stopped to join Zoom meeting, Bind Zoom meeting. It was too much for me. I
Right.
don't know why.
The Zooms, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why. But
See,
it's-
I think I like, and then I guess just as depends on you and your brain injury or each personality. Because I think I did mine online and that was before my brain injury, but part of that was timing and I don't know whatnot. But yeah,
Interesting. So you liked it in person and
yeah, in person is better for me, easier
Yeah.
for me than Zoom.
yeah. And were there any aspects about being like really like a lot of people? Was that like an issue or were you prepared for it?
In the classroom, sat all the time at the corner and close to the door, and then, yeah, that's why I was able to do whatever I needed, but I did it very quietly.
Right.
And, yeah, and then if I couldn't understand that time after the class, I asked the professor.
Nice.
No, that's good. Yeah, I was going to ask about that when you said the professor knew and would let you leave the room. Did you could go back in and get like the notes that you missed from him? Well, you had like, would he help you like when you left the room, like fill you in on what you missed? You could go to him and figure out what you missed in the lecture.
Yeah, in the classroom, after the class he helped me, and then he gave me where he stay. Sometimes where he stay, so I was able to go to see him, and I was able to see different professors too.
Okay.
So, for example, math lab, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There were many teachers and many students, so
So-
they helped.
Yeah. So how many like hours did you take a semester? Because I know that can be a lot. Did you just do like one class a semester, or did you do
Last
several?
time I took just one class.
I would think that would be hard enough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I took just one class, and UT Dallas, I wanted to take 2 classes, but it was too expensive. If I take 4 classes as a full-time student, I think the tuition will be a little bit not that expensive.
Yeah.
But so I think about it, what I can do that.
Yeah, of course. I do think 4 classes. That's a big like
Yeah, it's too
commitment.
much.
I think that's
too
awesome.
much for me. Maybe 2 is the maximum for me.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's great. Well, I would really love to think what you're saying right now about your experience as being a brain injury survivor and you going back to school. And I love it. Thank you so much for that. Do
You're
you want to
welcome.
leave any last tip for anyone that's a brain injury survivor that's thinking about going back to school?
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Thanks.
Don't give up. Focus future. Don't think different people's thinking. I think mine, yours, your will important, not theirs.
Right.
years.
Right.
I think
Focus
so.
on yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Don't worry about everybody else. Just you do you, right?
Yes.
I love saying that. So, but yeah, Myung, we thank you so much for joining us today and giving us that insight and sharing a little bit about you and your journey back to recovery and becoming a student and a citizen. And it's all amazing stuff. And like I said, I know that when you put your mind to something, you're going to do it. So we look forward to having you back on after you get that bachelor's degree and move back here, and you can start teaching us classes here at Bind. And again, if any of our listeners would like more information about Bind, what we do and who we are, or have suggestions for us on topics that you'd like to hear or anything that you'd like, you can email us at bindwaves@thebind.org.
Yes, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and also just hit the notify so you can make sure to listen to us and watch us on YouTube while listening to Bindwaves. If you find us in all of your favorite platforms, so make sure to continue us every Thursday. Until next time.
Until next time.
Thank you so much for inviting me and give me this chance to share my story.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to Bind Waves and continue to support Bind and our nonprofit mission.
We support brain injury survivors as they reconnect into the life, the community, and their workplace.
And we couldn't do that without great listeners like you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Continue watching. Until next time.
Until next time.